what type of person do you want to be? Do you want to be the type of person who thinks from a place of lacking, who thinks from a place of misery, who brain rots all the time and spends all their time consuming instead of creating? Putting your energy into creating is probably one of the best ways you can spend your time, and it is the most beneficial. Like, as humans, we're literally supposed to create. Like, we have the ability to create. Think about even animals. Like, they do not have the ability to create things like we do, or like the conscious, even just their anatomy, like their paws, their whatever. They can't hold a pencil, they can't write on a laptop, they can't write on a typewriter. Like, we are very unique in that we have this ability to create in multiple ways, and we are pretty much the only species who can like, we have the anatomy and the like cognitive ability to do so. And so I think that to not do so is detrimental, and I think it's just such a waste. And I think that instead of consuming all the time, try creating. Consuming on our phones all the time, we get depressed. That is why people get so depressed. They're like, why do I feel like crap? It's like, I don't know, maybe because you've been scrolling on your phone for several hours, like completely overstimulating your brain and like constantly consuming. And I've been there timeless times, but the ability to recognize that is extremely important. I think a lot of people can't recognize that, unfortunately. But yeah, having the ability to recognize, like, oh, I feel like really, really depressed because I've been laying in bed scrolling on my phone, like doom scrolling. And also, the ability to like transmute like your emotions into something physical, into like a creative project or something. Like if you write or draw or whatever, like being able to do that. I mean, look at all of the people in the past who have done that and who have become infamous people, and to this day, and it is because they did that. And yeah, think about the artists that you listen to. They are constantly using their life experiences, negative and positive, and making something out of it and benefiting from it and having an impact on other people, and like in turn also putting their emotions into something and creating something. If your favorite artist decided that they just wanted to constantly be consuming instead of creating, they would, you wouldn't be able to appreciate their music or whatever it is. It wouldn't exist because they never did anything with their emotions. They never tried to create anything ever of any sort. Just maybe you can be that to somebody. Like your artist, your favorite artist or your favorite whatever is to you. Somebody meaningful, impactful, to get somebody through a hard time. Maybe somebody will deeply resonate with something that you create, and that you'll be able to reach them in such a profound way that maybe nobody else ever could. I've been avoiding social media recently. Like, I can feel it quite literally rotting my brain when I use it. I can feel it making me negative. I just feel like absolute like dog when I use it. Excuse me, Cerberus. Excuse my hair. I was outside today, so I have like sunscreen in it, so it looks greasy right now. Anyway, it doesn't matter what side of social media like you're on. You're gonna keep scrolling and you're gonna like start seeing negative content. Like I will be on the most like positive side of TikTok and it'll be like positive, 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 positive. That'll be like the algorithm that has been created for me because it knows that that is what I want to see. And they say like your algorithm is curated for you. And then like I start feeling like crap. And I start feeling like crap anyways when I'm scrolling. It's such like a horrible feeling. It's just like this restless feeling and it's like you have used your dopamine to its maximum capacity because you're just like overstimulating your brain so much. But anyway, I saw this one TikTok and it really did something to me. It was like me seeing a hateful person and it making me want to be more positive, and then there was a duet to it and it was me seeing a positive person and it makes me want to be more hateful. But I found it really inspiring because as I've gotten older, I feel like I understand both perspectives and I understand both sides. I used to see people being really overly positive and whatever, and I don't think I was like, oh, that makes me want to be negative, but I didn't see as much value in that. It goes to show that like it is a choice what side you're choosing. I mean, you're choosing one side or the other essentially. Like a lot of things are not so black and white, but you know, essentially you're choosing. TikTok is so negative. And you get scrolling and you just see these people who are so hateful and just being so negative, and like having gotten out of that negative, such a negative low mindset and space, I am naive to think that a lot of people have as well, but it's like just because I have doesn't mean a lot of other people have. Obviously, you will come quickly to find that a lot of people are still in that space. And I feel like I'm someone who's very like influenced by other people, so when I'm consuming something or when I'm around people, I start to feel like their moods will rub off on me. And sometimes after like hanging out with people, I'm like, why do I feel like this way? And I will realize I think it's because I'm literally absorbing or like their energy, like whatever like vibration they're on, however they're feeling, it will rub off on me and I will start to feel like that. Like if they're feeling really bad about themselves, if they're feeling like really crappy or negative or like having like whatever, I will start to feel that about myself. And I have to be like, no, I let go of, you know, any energy that's not mine, and I call my energy back to me, because otherwise I feel very like crappy after hanging out with people or go on my phone or whatever. I never used to feel that strongly about this, but so many people like want to dim your light, and life wants to like harden people, or it does. Not necessarily that it wants to, but like it does, you know what I mean? And I think it's easy to let it do so. I think it's easy to let life make you feel jaded or let people dim your light. What I found is that I want to transmute that, you know, negativity, that life trying to harden me, other people trying to do the same thing, trying to dim like my light or whatever, like that used to work on me. People used to be able to get to me very easily. I had decided I wanted to transmute that energy, that negative energy, you know, the negative experiences, hard things, like I wanted to transmute that into positivity. I'm like, no, you're not gonna get to me. Life's not gonna jade me. Life's not gonna dim my light. You're not gonna dim my light. It is like reverse psychology or something, where it's like doing the opposite effect. It's like I'm gonna really ensure now that that's not gonna happen. You know what I mean? And anybody who is trying to do that is so you have to know so miserable in their own life. Transmute that. People trying to bring you down, people trying to be negative, transmute that into being like, no, I'm not gonna let life harden me. I'm not gonna let these people bring me down. I'm not gonna have a bad life. Like, transmute that into that hate into good. And I think that everybody's capable of doing that. You know, this energy that exists, regardless if it's negative or positive, you just transmute it into something good. Like, celebrities do that with hate. You know, they get hate all the time. And they say, like, good publicity is bad publicity or whatever. Like, how is that different for us? You know what I mean? Having nothing to lose is probably, it's one of the hardest places that you can be at, but it's also one of the best places that you can be at, because you have nothing to lose. So changing how you think about stuff, such a transformative place to be at. It was the most transformative place for me to be at when I felt like I had nothing to lose. It's really like, okay, well, I might as well just do this to try to better myself, or try this new perspective out, try this new way of thinking out. What else do you have to lose? You know what I mean? Genuinely. And you could keep going about life the way you've been going about life for whatever, how many years, and see if that will ever change anything. Has it so far? You know what I mean? I did like a whole video about embracing change, and change can be really hard for a lot of people, and I think that's why people get stuck in the same cycles, because things are repeating in their life and they don't want to change. I understand that it's very easy to get comfortable in, you know, a familiar hell. People will, like, 9 times out of 10 choose a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven. Just because something is unfamiliar doesn't mean that it's bad for you, and your brain wants to, like, tell you that, and it will feel that way at first, but you can just feel, you feel so much better than being stuck in the same ways and your familiar little hell. You know what I mean? All these things that I've changed about my life in recent years I can't imagine where I would be at had I decided to stay the same, and had I decided not to make any changes. I feel grateful every single day that I choose continuously to step out of my comfort zone. You know, it's not easy to do that, but I would so much rather embrace change than deny it and try to stay the same, because nothing is staying the same. Like, life is not gonna wait for me, life is not gonna wait for you, life is gonna keep on going and keep on changing. And if you're, you know, against the grain of that change, you're only gonna get stuck and you're only gonna get miserable. There is a rise in negativity on social media, and I talk about this a lot, but I think it's really relevant, and I feel like a lot of people talk about it, or they don't talk about it, or they talk about it but they don't do anything about it, or they talk about it but they don't have solutions about it, or they don't talk about it in a serious way. It's not serious to people. I don't know why it's not taken seriously, but I think the first step is recognizing how it's making you feel, how being on your phone is making you feel, how consuming all this content is making you feel. You're literally living in a world that isn't there. And I think that if you want to do that to a certain degree, moderation is important. When you're constantly on your phone, especially in your free time, constantly, it's just like, my phone is rejecting what I'm saying, which phones are an addiction. Social media is an addiction, and I think it's one of the most rampant addictions in the world in recent years, and I think it is the most invalidated addictions. And yeah, it feels like everybody is like, chop this, chop that, everything's embarrassing, like everything is unserious, and everything is just turned into a joke or made to be funny. Like, everyone on social media is so deeply unserious, and to a certain degree I think it's good to be unserious, but to the degree that people are unserious on social media is like just dangerous, low-key. It's like they can't take anything seriously, not even things that should be taken very seriously. And I think that sorry, I'm brushing my hair. I think that don't become one of those people who is just so like brain rot like taking everything unseriously, like not being able to take anything seriously in life, and just finding everything embarrassing or whatever. It's like, don't become one of those people. Once you do things to better yourself and to like change your mindset, people are gonna notice. Like, you're literally you will glow up. Like, that is just undeniably the truth. After I started changing my mindset, people in my close like life immediately took notice. Like, I was like changing things and whatever about my life, and they were like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you whatever? I knew that I had to, and they were like, what are you doing? Like, and then they were like, with a little bit more time, they were like, oh my god, like, you seem so much happier. Like, it is so noticeable. Like, the contrast from before to now is very, very evident, and it made me really happy to hear people notice. But also, it doesn't matter if anybody sees how far you come or doesn't look like it on the outside. You feel it on the inside, and it still counts. It still matters, even if other people don't notice. Building good habits, and it's like, it doesn't have to be like something that you do for like an hour or hours, you know what I mean? It's like, if you want to work out, you don't have to work out in like an hour, like 5 days a week. You can work out like 15 minutes, like a few times a week, and it will add up over time. Like, that's just an example, but I've talked about this too, people have like an all or nothing mindset where they're like, oh, I have to go all out or I can't do it at all, but that's not true. If you want to learn a new language, put like 10 minutes into your day learning that language. Like, 10 minutes out of the entire day is such a like insignificant amount of time, but it will add up over time, you know what I mean? It's like, if you want to do something, do it. If you want to work on cleaning or whatever, clean a little bit each day. It adds up over time, and it doesn't have to be all or nothing. If you want to stop using your phone so much, limit the time you use your phone by like a certain amount of time over the course of like several days or weeks or something, you know what I mean? If you want to change your mindset, take 10 minutes to think about positive things, to reflect about, not even 10 minutes, take 5 minutes to think about positive things and things you're grateful for, and to reflect and whatever, and it will add up over time. It doesn't have to be an hour-long thing. It doesn't have to be even a half an hour-long thing. One of the best headspaces that you can be in is standing your ground and respecting yourself and not letting other people walk on you. It's not out of self-love to let people walk on you, to let people cross your boundaries. Like, that is not coming from a place of self-love. And if you're a people pleaser, it is very difficult. And I never really considered myself a people pleaser, but I think like I do definitely have a lot of tendencies of being a people pleaser and wanting to keep the peace. Like, even just like being like, oh, I'm not a people pleaser, but like I want to keep the peace. Like, I don't want to have confrontation or whatever. I've definitely been like that. But when you stand your ground and you stand up for yourself and like you're like, no, you're not going to disrespect me, you're not going to cross this boundary that I set, you're not going to whatever, you will start to attract things. You're not coming from a place of like being desperate and being like, oh, I'm so desperate to have this person in my life, like whatever. You know, you're like, no, like you're not gonna treat me this way, you're not gonna talk to me this way, you're not gonna cross this boundary or whatever. Like, I don't accept this, because desperate energy repels like everything. When you're desperate, you're repelling everything. Like, it's like the anxious attachment versus avoidant attachment. Like, a lot of times in a lot of relationships, you'll see people having an anxious attachment person and an avoidant attachment person. It's like the anxious attachment person is like repelling them, it's like whatever, and the avoidant attachment is making the anxious attachment like more like wanting to stick to them and being anxious about them and whatever. It's like a, you know what I mean? And there's been times where like I've seen other people put themselves first. It was like, I need to put myself first and I need to prioritize myself and focus on myself and my career and my life, and I just don't have the time for a romantic relationship. Like, I can't prioritize that. I'm choosing to prioritize myself. I had a hard time understanding people like that. At the same time, I respected them. I was like, how do they do that? Like, how do they just completely put themselves completely first over another person? And it's not like in a selfish way or whatever. It's just like, no, I really need to focus on myself. I really need to focus on this, that's going on in my life. And instead of taking that as like a bad thing, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna start putting myself first. I'm gonna stop like putting other people first, and I'm gonna start putting myself first, because I don't understand why people do this, but I respect them at the same time. And so, you know what? I'm gonna do that too. People will only accept like the love they think they deserve or something. I think that's like a quote from The Wallflowers or something. I don't even know. A movie. And I think that's true. Like, I think people do accept the love they think they deserve. I think you should stand your ground. I think you should be like, no, I'm not gonna accept any less than I think I deserve, which is really, really difficult to do, because you may really like someone and be like, well, they just have like this one thing, or like there's a couple things or whatever, but I still want to have them in my life or whatever. But it's such like accepting that is like such not out of a place of self-love, and I don't think that it's beneficial to do that at all. And it may not be easy to do. You may be like, well, what if I don't find anyone better or whatever? But you can't think like that. You can't think from a place of the opposite of abundance. You have to think from a place of abundance, that just think of all the people in the world, think of everything. Like, a lot of people have this mindset, like they're worrying about running out of money or people or love or, anything, I guess. This lacking mindset that is so relevant in society, and a lot of people think from a place of like lacking instead of a place from abundance. But I heard this example from Louise Hayes, that when you think of oxygen, you think of it as it is an abundant thing. There's enough for everybody to have some. We're not worrying not about running out. You shouldn't give in to people who you know aren't good for you. You should not stand by your boundaries. If you see a red flag, walk away. If you think somebody doesn't want the same thing as you, state your boundaries very firmly and be like, no, this is what I'm looking for, and I accept no less than this. Be very, very forward with that because otherwise people are going to step on you. Also, kind of a little side note, if a person's like telling you, oh, you know, like I might want a relationship in the future, but I don't really know, but that's definitely like not a no or anything. Take it as a no. Take it as a no. And they're just gonna string you along. And yeah, you don't know what you want, I do, bye. Sometimes not knowing is knowing. So, sometimes. But anyways, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Oh, oopsie. There's cat barf. Bruh. What type of person do you want to be? Do you want to be in a person? And what did I just say?